The Biden administration is in crisis right now. Their handling of this troop and civilian withdrawal and Afghan refugee withdrawal has been absolutely deplorable over the last several days. Joining us this morning to talk about that is New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. Congresswoman, good morning. Nice to have you back on the show. I want to mark this moment. This is the final Friday, we think, of Andrew Cuomo in the governor's executive mansion in Albany. And this is something that you've been very passionate about for a long time. Monday, apparently, will be the first day of the lieutenant governor of New York. Quickly, your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, Andrew Cuomo is hopefully going to go out without a bang, although he is busy issuing pardons, and I'm waiting to see if he's going to pardon some of his friends like Joe Prococo, Elaine Caballeros, and others who are behind bars right now. He hasn't done that yet. I worry about what he's doing in his last 14 days as we wind down to set in stone some things that we can't change. He's already trying to do that with some issues. I'm hoping that the legislature still holds him accountable and doesn't give up. I know they gave up on the impeachment, but the investigation should move forward. He should be held accountable for the numerous, what I think are potential crimes that he's committed, not the least of which is obviously sexual assault claims coming from some of those victims who I think are probably going to pursue him in civil and criminal court.
At least 13 women now. Congresswoman, I want to put up a tweet that you put out a day ago. I can't count how many times I've said it today alone, but it bears repeating. Joe Biden can no longer serve as commander-in-chief. He must resign from office immediately. He has disgraced this entire nation. Do you think he will resign? And this is something that we've been talking about here on Wake Up. I want to show you a picture. It's that odd Situation Room photo of Joe Biden alone. He's got a golf shirt on. He looks befuddled, if you ask me, if that's even a word that people use anymore. There's nobody around him, though. But look, just in the recent history, President Trump was in the Situation Room, and he was surrounded not only by the generals, but also the vice president. Anytime he had to make a serious decision, he looks like he's in charge. It was the same during the raid when Barack Obama got bin Laden back in 2011. Do you think that there's a possibility that this is being stage managed deliberately to pin this on Joe Biden, to invoke something like the 25th Amendment to get him out of office?
You know, that could be true, and I wouldn't be surprised. I know it's really curious that the vice president is completely absent in this really a crisis in America and what Joe Biden has created with this policy. I mean, he's been duplicitous in his answers with the ABC News interview. You know, he blames the generals, then he says he has full account, but also there's Kamala Harris is on record saying she fully supported this reckless pullout of Afghanistan, or surrender, as many are calling it. It's the reason I've called for Joe Biden's resignation, and I think Kamala Harris should bear some of the responsibility as well. You know, look, I can think of times in history, the Civil War, for example, when one of our great presidents, Lincoln, he had trouble getting his policies implemented in his war strategy, and he eliminated generals along the way until he stumbled upon Grant, and Grant was able to execute what he had to do. This has been just a fumble all the way through. I don't think Joe Biden's capable of being commander-in-chief, nor do I think the people that he's got, whether it's the vice president, the joint chief, the secretary of state, they have no answers for the American people. And there's been very little discussion. There's been just a display of weakness when we need a display of strength and power. We're dealing with terrorists who are literally killing people in Afghanistan, when we had a fairly, 18-year lull of American citizens losing their lives there. And think of all the American citizens who lost their lives, and Afghans and allied soldiers who worked toward a mission. You know, whether you agree with what our status was in Afghanistan or not, we were winding it down. We were maintaining a certain status quo.
Right.
People are in throngs in the airport trying to get out of this situation, including some of my constituents.
Congresswoman, quick question, about 30 seconds left. Is Vice President Kamala Harris, is she a better option? Sometimes you want to go with the devil you know and not the one you don't. But I mean, it just seems like we're in a tough spot here until at least 2024.
We don't have another option. Right now, Joe Biden, to me, does not have the cognitive ability. He expressed himself in a very arrogant, callous way. You know, nobody's been killed. He doesn't seem to really understand what's going on the ground. Is that the fault of his generals? Are they keeping him informed? At least with Vice President Harris, I know that there's not a cognitive problem. She may not lack the competence to be president, but at least she may be able to react to advisors and understand the actual situation on the ground and what's happening. Those interviews with Joe Biden, I'd like to see the entire transcript. I think they should come out. I think ABC should be required to put those out.
Yeah.
What exactly did Joe Biden know? What did his advisors know? Was it the generals on the ground? Was it the Joint Chiefs? Who made this policy? And we aren't getting straight answers.
Yeah.
And I think it's time for him to resign. I really think he's not capable of doing this job. The crisis at the border. I mean, you name it, everything that he claims he was inherited this. Come on.
He did not
This
inherit
is a disaster.
this, and he's the commander in chief. He could have changed the plans at any time. Congresswoman, we appreciate you coming on. The president will address the nation at 1 o'clock today Eastern. We'll see if he takes questions. This has been fascinating to watch this play out. I honestly think that George Stephanopoulos probably gave the president's team all the questions in advance as well. I can't confirm that. That's just an assumption, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, nice to see you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.